Yeah, very good morning to all of you. So my name is Shubham Shukla, and I'm working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication, KIET Group of Institutions, Ghaziabad. So today we are going to deal with a very interesting topic of machine learning, which is the genetic algorithm. So as I have already told you that in Unit 5, we will discuss about some sort of algorithms which are meta-heuristic, or we can say that these algorithms are entirely based on the problems related to optimization. So one of the algorithm based on the problems related to optimization is the genetic algorithm, and this algorithm was developed by John Hall. So John Hall was the person behind genetic algorithm. So he has given some basic features before designing this algorithm. So first important feature of genetic algorithm is it is real biological evolution abstraction. It means that with the help of genetic algorithm we can abstract some real features out of biological evolution. Second point is it is used for solving the complex problem related to optimization. Suppose we are having the huge set of population, and in order to optimize that population we need to take help of genetic algorithms. Third point is it emphasizes on the optimization of the problem. So as we have already discussed in machine learning in unit number 4 about instance-based learning. So the algorithm based on instance-based learning are the algorithm which are related to solving the problems related to classification. So we have already used that type of learning algorithms for the classification models, right? So here the scenario is entirely different because it emphasizes on the optimization of the problem despite on classifying the problems. So fourth point is it provides the population of the possible solution for the given problem. So it means that it provides the population of the possible solution, right? If suppose you are having a particular solution and that solution is entirely filled with a population, then it will provide a better, a quality result for that particular problem. So ultimately it optimizes the problem and reproduce it with the much efficient result. Now the fifth point is it follows the law of survival. As the name indicates that genetic algorithm is the natural meta-heuristic algorithm. So all these meta-heuristic natural algorithms actually follows the law of Charles Darwin, which is the survival of fittest. Now according to that, you see, where from the crowd of people the best one will hold the ability to survive. So what Charles Darwin has once said, that if suppose there's a population, then amongst that population the only one who will going to survive will be the fittest one, right? So in the population, in the set of data, population means data, in the set of data, the only data which will going to be result as the fruitful data is that data which is turned out to be the most optimized data after applying the genetic algorithm to that particular population. So this is how this particular algorithm actually works. Now this is divided actually into two types. First is phenotypes and second is genotypes. So when we apply input, you see, when we apply input, then the input is encoded to form as a genotype. Suppose this phenotype and genotypes are two types of synonyms we actually used in machine learning, where phenotypes stands for raw data and genotypes stand for the processed data. So in the case of phenotypes, we are actually applying the input. That input is getting encoded, and after it's encoded, it actually turns up into a genotype, which is the processed data. Now let me tell you something about the biological evolution. So biological evolution, it explains about the study of genes. You see, biological evolution is the first point of genetic algorithm, which explains about the study of genes, the study of chromosomes, and it also explains that how two parents of different gene is capable of producing the new offspring. So the important point is that it actually emphasizes on telling us that how the two parents of different gene is capable of producing the new offspring. So suppose we are having two different sets of data and present in the population, present in the hypothesis space. So in that particular population, we need to find the new optimized data after applying the genetic algorithm to that, and passes the best to the new offspring or to the next generation. Then the next generation must meet in the future to produce the best outcome, the much modified and the best solution. So remember that after the two parents meets, they produce an offspring, and when they produce an offspring, and when those offspring meet each other, then they produce the next generation. That next generation, when it will meet in future, it produces the much modified as well as the best solution for that particular problem. So here in this mechanism, the best gene are traveling into the next generation. So we must notice this particular point, that in this mechanism, the best genes are traveling into the next generation. And on this point itself, our genetic algorithm is eventually based upon this particular topic, that when we use genetic algorithm in the field of AI and machine learning, where we have already discussed about the fact that we are having multiple solutions, but amongst those solutions we need to find out the best possible solution. So suppose what I mean to say is that if we are having the large population, suppose we are having a large population space, and over that large population space we need to find the exact or optimized data, then while applying the genetic algorithm, what it actually does is that it initially combines the two parent set of population. Then when the two parent set of population meets amongst themselves, then they produce another offspring, which is another data, or perhaps it is the new data. So when the new data again will meet amongst themselves, then they produce another generation of a data, and while doing that, they are actually optimizing the result. So this is the main objective of genetic algorithm, that the meeting process amongst the population continues to goes on in order to produce the best possible solution for the problem. Now, when the child that produce the next generation, ultimately he will be consisting of few more special features, and that is why the genetic algorithm mainly focuses on an optimization technique. So this is the important criteria, that whenever the child produces the next generation, so remember, whenever the child produces the next generation, Now, how the child has got produced. When the two parent data set meet with each other, they have produced a child, and when the child produces the next generation, then ultimately he will be consisting of few more special features, and that is why genetic algorithm is mainly focuses on the optimization technique. So here we are not finding the solution of the problem as we have actually already done in the previous algorithms, but here we are actually finding the solution to reproduce the best result. We are actually finding the solution to reproduce the best result. And how we are reproducing the best result? By optimizing the problems. By optimizing the problems, we are getting the best solution, and that best solution is turned out to be the best possible outcome for any problem. So in all the other algorithm we use in the field of machine learning, they provide the best solution by taking in an input and producing the output, right? So as I have already discussed in my class, that in all the previous algorithms which I have discussed in machine learning, actually takes the input, and what it ultimately does, it produces the output. But here the genetic algorithm is entirely different. It is not doing so. It is actually working on the problem. It is actually working on the on the population, and it is ultimately optimizing the result so that we can get the optimized as well as the efficient outcome. So here in genetic algorithm, we are not applying the concept. Here we are already have lots of solution, and amongst those solutions we need to find out the best solution or the optimized result. Now let us discuss about the new topic, which is a population of possible solution for the given problem. Population for the possible solution for a given problem. Generally in genetic algorithm we use the complex problem, which is most often called as NP-hard problems, right? So in genetic algorithms, generally we use very complex problems, which is ultimately known as NP-hard problems, like traveling salesman problem. This is one of the problem associated with genetic algorithm, which generally consists of huge complexity and which increases exponentially as it progresses. So here we use genetic algorithm to optimize these sort of problems. So for these type of problems, we generally use genetic algorithms where we are having a huge search space or population space, and in that given population we need to figure out the best solution. So what ultimately we do in genetic algorithm, that the population is already being provided to us, or perhaps we can say that let me show you that suppose let me annotate you while showing you the particular diagram of it. Suppose this is the hypothesis space. Suppose this is the hypothesis space, and there are multiple problems present in this hypothesis space, right? These are the different problems, or perhaps we can say that these are the instances present in this hypothesis space. Now, in the previous machine learning algorithms, what we were actually doing is that we were actually finding out the distance between these two instances, and we were just predicting the outcome, what shall be the possible outcome, but we won't be able to optimize the result. We won't be able to optimize this particular problem. So with the help of genetic algorithm, we are already having the population based in the form of instances, and we are ultimately doing is taking all these instances into consideration and producing the most optimal result with the help of genetic algorithm. So what genetic algorithm is actually doing over here, it is actually combining these two parent instance